Alright, welcome back to Flashback Friday. I'm your host Hank McRae from Without a Face. I recently learned that streaming the entire album and recording it for video, while it does not give me any copyright strikes per se, I wish to avoid any potential for that moving forward. So I will no longer be including audio from the actual songs that I'm listening to. This is strictly just going to be commentary. I have never heard of this band before. I'm not even sure that I really heard any of their songs before. Maybe I'll recognize something from this album, I don't know. The first song is titled In-Betweener. Here we go. Wow. I just listened to the opening track, In-Betweener, off of this album, Smart by Sleeper. I have to say, I really loved the guitar tones. It's very 90s, of course, smack dab in the middle of the 90s. I did not know that they had a lady vocalist. I think she has wonderful vocals, beautiful tone of voice, very catchy song. Now we're going to listen to a song called Swallow. Alright, I just listened to Swallow by Sleeper, the second track off of the album titled Smart, released in 1995. I have to say, it reminds me a lot of Pixies to me. Very Pixies-esque with the production. I mean, it sounds a bit more polished in my opinion, which is not a slight at all. It was another catchy song, looking over this album, and there's 12 songs total. It runs about 38 minutes roughly. I was reading they're from England, you know. This band actually went on tour in support of Blur at one point. Alright, let's get to the next song. It's called Delicious. Just finished listening to Delicious by Sleeper, and it's another catchy song. This is a very good band. I loved the lead guitar work on this, especially high energy performance, a little bit of spoken word-esque type of delivery, as well as traditional singing. And yeah, big fan of this album so far. I'm really happy I discovered this. Alright, now we're going to listen to a song called Hunch. Okay, they slowed it down a little bit for that one. I'd say it's more of a mid-tempo song, and it starts out with just, the guitar and singing, then eventually they get really rocking toward the end of the song there. I think it's another brilliant song. This is just an album that flew under the radar. I mean, a great album that flew under the radar. Okay, this next song is titled Amuse. Alright, just finished listening to Amuse by Sleeper off of their Smart album. I loved it. This time it was just an electric guitar, I think on a clean setting really, and the lady sung a beautiful melody the entire time, and very introspective lyrics in my opinion. Next I will listen to Bedhead. Okay, I just listened to Bedhead, and it was another catchy song. I felt that it had a little bit of a formulaic thing going on there, reminded me a lot of Blur as well, which I see why they went on tour opening for Blur. Can't really fault a lot of these bands for seeming formulaic at times, and what I will say about Bedhead though is that song did have a little bit of unpredictability in it, maybe toward the middle of the song I think, something that I would not have predicted. Anyway, this dynamic of always going from loud to quiet, back to loud and quiet again, this is something that was very common especially in the 90s, with rock and roll. Alright, let's listen to it's called Lady Love Your Countryside. Just finished listening to Lady Love Your Countryside. And one thing I'm noticing about this band in listening to this album so far is I love the way that they are ending a lot of their songs. I think they're often creative in the way that they are ending it, especially for this time period, but also for now. Alright, this next song I'm going to listen to is called Vegas. This band is very clever. I just finished listening to Vegas, another very solid song. I can't believe I never heard of this band before. Now we're going to listen to a song titled Poor Flying Man. Poor Flying Man is another good song. I think lyrically here she is doing a play on look up in the sky is a bird, is a plane, no, it's Superman, that's I think that's from the original Superman movie, or Or maybe the TV show, I'm not sure. But okay, now I'm going to listen to Alice in Vain. I am just continually impressed by this band. I might have to listen to other albums of theirs if there are any. Let's see here. Alright, they've got Smart, The It Girl, The Modern Age, This Time Tomorrow, which was released in 2021. They've also got a Live at the BBC album. Very interesting. Okay, the next song is called Twisted. Okay, Twisted was another solid rock song from this band. I do feel that the album is getting a little bit long for me, but this is a sign of a good album because we're approaching the final song. You know, it's funny, there are albums that can be maybe 90 minutes long and they won't feel long. There can be an album that's maybe 25 minutes long and it can still feel long as well. It's just that I feel that this is a bit of a one-trick pony kind of album here. They are tastefully changing the tones here and there on the vocal effects, you know, but I feel like I'm hearing the same song over and over. Maybe they could have trimmed this down to 9 or 10 songs, I'm not sure. But here's the closing track, Pyrotechnician. Okay, overall, I feel this is a really good rock album, especially for the mid-90s, you know. I was a little underwhelmed by the album closing track. It just felt like a little bit more of the same. I don't know why this is specifically my kind of criticism. I suppose if I'm going to hear an album that I've never heard before and it's from the mid-90s, I guess for some reason I'm trying to look for something that maybe separates them from the rest of the pack, so to speak. And they're all, of course, very good at their instruments, pretty solid songwriting too. But I guess I can see maybe why they got lost in the shuffle here. What I am very inspired by though at the same time is that they still managed to release a few albums not too long ago. And it's inspiring to me to see that artists are still making art even later in their life, regardless of whatever commercial success they experience. Well, that's it for Flashback Friday. I hope you'll have a wonderful weekend. I'll see you next week for Throwback Thursday and Flashback Friday as well. I might pop up for Music Monday too, we'll see.